I'll go next. We can just go down the line. So I'm in political science. I'm also the faculty director at the Honors College, so I deal with students across all majors. But let me kind of tell you about how I got into this myself. In poli-sci, long story, but I wound up creating a Model UN for Baltimore County high schoolers. And this is a new way of doing Model UN that's not cost-based. It's open opportunity, unlike the other Model UNs you hear about. Anyway, so did something exist like this before I started it? No, but now it does. Here I am 17 years later in doing it. But to run something like this, I needed students. I created a service learning class to work with the program. But then I decided I wanted to push the students even farther, and then comes the undergraduate research. So what the students can do in the second semester, the first semester is the service learning class with the Model UN. The second semester, they can earn independent study credit for one of the 3 credits is serving as a school coach and helping the kids, high schoolers, prepare for the actual conference in March. We have a training day in November, a conference in March. So this includes they have to prepare materials, and so forth for the school coaching that they do. But the other 2 credits is they have to take a research paper they did in the fall. They have to expand it, deepen it, and get it ready for an undergraduate research journal. They also have to present it at a local, regional, and or national undergraduate research conference. So I had to have conferences for them to do. Figure that out and everything, which is a whole nother story. But at this point, I've had 39 students present nationally or regionally, and then many, many more than that do it locally, meaning here at the TU forum. So in terms of how many students I've mentored, it's all about the United Nations, okay? But my graduate school research was on German-Polish relations. So you talked about stretching yourself into areas. I've had to learn about things I had absolutely no idea about, which is a challenge and a benefit. And this is most of the research that I've mentored has been student designed, not helping me with my research, but instead student designed. However, in a project where a student and I worked on following up on the kids doing these research projects, we actually assessed, went back 10 years later and did a where are they now. A student who had done it actually was an alumni at that point, came in and helped me on the research, and we presented at a conference and published the work to then be assessing and following up what are the actual impacts when you're looking long term. So that's kind of the real skinny about what I do. But more about why I do, what the impacts are of what I do. I'll tell a couple of quick little vignettes, big and small successes. So one student, I'll just give you his first name, Steve. Steve was a self-confessed, I'm here to get through college, talked about when he came to visit, said he saw a lot of pretty girls around campus and thought this would be a good place to go. And that pretty much was the beginning and end of his college selection. He wound up in one of my classes, he's good. Wound up in one of my classes, and I just kept pushing him. And he did not like it at first, at all, being pushed and told he had to work harder. And then suddenly he found himself actually liking it. So he took a second class with me, which was the civic engagement class. And then he became invested in it because he's like, no, wait a minute. Everybody can work harder. I figured out how to work harder. They can work harder too. And then continued on into the research class. Well, this is a kid who was getting C's, who wound up on the dean's list getting A's at the end. And so it was very transformational for him in terms of helping him, grow up and figure out, who he wanted to be, was this opportunity. And he presented at a regional conference, which was up in New York at the time, near where his parents were. His parents came to his presentation and say they were overjoyed at graduation when they saw the transformation of their son, as well as an understatement. So I think about it as very transformational, and it can help kids find that, ignite that potential that they have, that or maybe they didn't even know they had, as was the case with this student. I think of my next student that I bring up, Jonathan. This was very empowering for this particular student who had various learning disabilities. And so how could he, again, pull it all together and take off with it. Well, here's the thing, I can't stop Jonathan from doing undergraduate research at this point. Okay, he started out, very shy and unsure of himself, and now is doing more and more and more projects, not even for credit, and saying, hey, can I present at another conference? Here, I've got this other idea, let me work on it over, holiday break. Sure, fine, So again, uncovering potential and empowering. And then I think also about students who have trouble fitting a lot of different opportunities in their schedules. And I had one student athlete who I worked with who couldn't go off to, national, regional conferences, couldn't do a lot of stuff outside of a very strict schedule because of her athletic schedule. And so, but doing research, which is a flexible way to, again, ignite that passion and really grow her own skills, was very important to her. This student wound up founding our undergraduate research club. We have an undergraduate research club, folks. It is an interdisciplinary club here at Towson. It's a very unique kind of club in terms of higher education institutions. We meet twice a month, and it's all about, when we talk about what we're doing at our level, this club is about the student level. For them to learn, how do I get mentors? How do I talk to faculty? How do I go about all of this? So the Undergraduate Research Club is a student-led peer mentoring club for this. It also has grants to help students go to conferences, and participants get to go to them. And we are doing our signature, can't believe I didn't bring flyers. Let's say, what was I thinking? Our signature fundraising activity we just launched on Friday, called Research Grams. So kind of like singing telegrams, no singing. We don't have any voice students this year. But anyway, what they do is they practice giving their research spiel by giving a grant. For $5, you can order off the menu of their research projects. And so, I can send Gary, only on campus, a research grant, and you would get an email that says, so-and-so sent you a research grant. Can I come during your office hours? So they'll make an appointment. It takes about 5 minutes, and they'll come give you their spiel. This has the trifecta result of students singing for their own supper, literally, raising awareness, and giving them the practice that they need to voice to others, what is this research that I'm doing, that I'm working on at this particular stage? What does it mean? How can it translate into jobs, into graduate school, into applications out there beyond my piece of paper? So you will all be getting a follow-up email with that link. Now, so those are some of the cases and kind of where it's gone to this point. Challenges in doing it. So as I said, I've had over 39 who have gone national and regional, many more who have gone local. So it's been well over probably 50 to 60 research projects that I've worked on in my time here. The challenge is workload. Most of the time this is not counted in my workload. It's been extra that I do, which when I have 1 or 2, I can fit. When I have 5, it becomes very challenging. And so I find it, problematic the way our workload is structured, and it makes it harder to encourage more people to do undergraduate research, I think. Another challenge is, of course, just, but also our reward system. Our reward system, it's all like, hey, thanks, nice, that's great. Here's your gold star. So we don't really have rewards for this kind of work, which I also find troubling, and I think that we can do a lot better as an institution, especially one that's supposed to pride itself on good teaching, and teachers who go above and beyond, who do not have any way of recognizing that. So I find that difficult. Time is a challenge, definitely a challenge, but that's part of why I actually created the club, was because when I was doing it on my own level was one thing, mentoring these students, and I would get them together as a group and so forth and so on. When I got to my role at the Honors College, and I'm also talking to kids across campus about it, I was pulling my hair out, and I was saying the same thing over and over again. So I created the club as this kind of one-stop place. Come, learn about it. Let's all talk about the challenges. Let's help each other work through the challenges and work through our different problems. And so to some extent, I have to say creating the club was a little bit of a time saver in a way, although it's also grown to be its own thing. And it does not align with my research, as I said before. So that's a challenge. But why do I do this? We all know it's a high impact practice, right? It's a HIP. It's very high impact. So after seeing the growth and the first couple of students I worked with, I then had a real problem with my no button. I just did. I do require them to get a B or higher in one of my classes in order to do this, to show that they have the dedication, they have the skills, and that they're going to be organized about how they do this. So I do have a GPA requirement, which I'm violating this semester by 1 student. But generally I do. But the impact that it then has when they, not only when they're here, but when they leave. What I can write in their grad school letters or their job recommendation letters, I can write more than, we've all seen this if you've been on enough committees, great student, good student, came on time, did good work, yada, yada. No, I can talk about something individual that student did that was unique, that was awesome, that was wonderful, and I can talk about that transformation from the inside, the very inside, because I've been watching it and helping it develop throughout, and it makes them distinct. And folks, at this point, our kids are not competing, in education, yes, they're competing on a state level, but even so, for jobs and certainly for grad school positions, they're competing nationally, if not internationally at this point for the slots. They need every step up they can get, and undergraduate research is a very important, high-impact way to do it. And for jobs, when I get a call, how do you know this student, or can you tell me something unique about this student? I've got something to explain how the student is a go-getter. So versus, the 100 students I taught this semester, this kid was one of 5 who went after an undergraduate research project. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. This is going to make them stand out. In today's economy, they're going to get jobs, but are they going to get the jobs that they want? Are they going to get the grad school positions that they really, really want? And it's our job to help them get there, and I think undergraduate research is an important path, if not one of the top 3 paths to get them there. It was also done for me when I was an undergraduate, as Alexei mentioned. Somebody did it for me, but I'm hoping that we can get beyond what I call luck and pluck. Luck and pluck is that, somebody happened to take a class with this professor who happened to have a research project at that time that they happened to be able to fit, and so somebody lucked it, it was luck that was going on, and somebody happened to pluck them. And hopefully we can get on beyond luck and pluck and make a more comprehensive foundation for undergraduate research for students in all majors, in all colleges. And I'm really hoping that College of Ed is going to be moving forward as Gary and Bob have been moving forward with the Honors College Ed students, because we've seen some wonderful outcomes. I was really thrilled. Honors has this Celebration of Scholarship and Learning poster conference every year, every semester, and was it last spring that an education student actually won the research category. And I was so proud, so very proud that one of the ed students was the one who had the project that won. And it just showed, we knew this, the 3 of us knew this, but it just showed everybody else as well that ed students can do excellent research. They can do it. So I'm hoping to see more of them try. Okay, that was a lot. Yeah.